All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into something pretty wild. A language learning method that's less about flashcards and more about literally rebuilding your brain. It was made famous by the incredible singer and learning master Shang Wenjie. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. So, get this. Someone actually asked Shang Wenjie this very question about her legendary ability. It sounds almost like a myth, right? This incredible, almost unbelievable fluency she had. But how did she actually pull it off? Okay, so for anyone who hasn't heard of her, Shang Wenjie is a legend. We're talking about someone who got so good at French, she finished all her university courses in the language in her first year. And no, this wasn't just a lucky break. She had figured out a way to, well, basically build a brand new language system right inside her own head. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever studied a language for like 10 years or more, but you still can't really speak it, or you freeze up when you try to understand a native speaker? If you're nodding right now, trust me, you are so not alone. It's got to be one of the most frustrating feelings ever. But here's the thing, and this is so important. That struggle, it probably has nothing to do with how smart you are or how hard you tried. The problem is, you've been walking down the completely wrong path from day one. Seriously, it's not you, it's the method. So, let's really dig into this. Why do the traditional ways of learning a language, why do they fail so many of us? Well, turns out they miss the biggest piece of the puzzle.
Okay, look at this comparison because it's everything. On the left, you've got the old way. It's all about knowledge, right? Memorizing words, learning grammar rules, basically treating your brain like a filing cabinet. But language isn't just a bunch of facts. It's a skill, a neural skill, just like playing the guitar. It's about training your brain's reflexes, building new pathways, and starting with sound, not just text on a page.
And this is the secret weapon that traditional methods just ignore. This hearing reflection system. Think of it like your brain's language instinct. It's the part of you that hears something and just reacts without you having to think about it. When you're just memorizing vocab lists, you're training your memory, sure, but you are never ever training this core language engine. And that's the whole problem. All right, so if the old way is totally broken, what's the fix? Well, this is where this method completely flips the script. It goes back to the most powerful language learning machine in the universe, a baby's brain. It's all about copying exactly how we learned to speak in the first place. Just think about it for a second. How did you learn your first language? You didn't crack open a grammar book in your crib, right? No. You just listened. For months and months, you were just soaked in sound. You picked up the rhythm, the melody. You got the feel of the language long before you had any clue what the words meant. This method is basically a way to reverse engineer that natural process as an adult. And this right here, this is the core idea. It's so powerful. You're not trying to learn a language by just piling new facts on top of your old brain wiring. No, the goal is to rebuild, to construct a completely new language system from scratch, right alongside your mother tongue. That change in perspective is a total game changer. Okay, so you're probably thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Well, the method is broken down into a super clear 4-step plan. Let's walk through it together. So here it is, the whole plan on one slide. Step 1, find some audio you actually find interesting. Step 2, listen to it and write it all down. Step 3, recite the whole thing. And step 4, say it at native speed. Now, it might look simple, but let's break down why each of these steps is actually a genius move for your brain. First up, interest. And let me be clear, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a non-negotiable rule.
Your brain is hardwired to remember stuff that it has an emotional connection to. If you're bored, your brain literally just checks out. But if you're hooked, listening to an amazing speech or a fascinating interview, your whole nervous system lights up. And your brain basically opens its doors and says, "All right, I'm ready to learn."
Okay, step 2 is where the magic really starts to happen. See, just listening is passive. But when you force yourself to write down exactly what you hear, word for word, that's what we call active, forced output. That struggle, hearing the sounds, figuring out where one word ends and the next begins, that's the process that literally builds a new language highway inside your brain. Now, step 3, recitation. And the key thing here is that you're not just memorizing a list of words. You're memorizing the entire text. Why? Well, think about how you speak your native language. You don't build sentences one word at a time. You pull out entire phrases, whole chunks of language, without even thinking. By reciting the whole audio, you are literally installing these pre-made language modules directly into your brain. And finally, step 4, speed. This is the ultimate test. It's not enough to just say the words. You have to be able to say them at the same speed as the original speaker. When you can finally do that, it's a sign of a massive, massive breakthrough. It means your brain has officially stopped doing the slow, painful work of translating from your native language. It's finally started to think and speak directly in the new one. So this 4-step cycle isn't a one and done kind of thing. It's a workout you repeat over and over to build a really stable, reliable, and instinctive new language system in your brain. So what does that actually look like in practice? So what's the magic number? Well, the recommendation is to take a 20-minute piece of audio and put it through this entire 4-step cycle until you've mastered it. Then you pick another one. The goal is to do this 10 times. That's what creates the quantum leap. Each of those 10 cycles is like a complete system upgrade for your brain, rebuilding and strengthening that new language model until it's rock solid. And this slide just perfectly shows you the payoff. On the left, you've got the brain of a traditional learner. It's slow, it's clunky, it's always translating back and forth. But on the right, that's the brain that's method built. It thinks directly in the new language. It just calls up those pre-built modules instantly. The difference is night and day. It's fast, it's fluid, and it feels completely natural. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Stop thinking of it as studying. This is a construction project. You are literally the architect of a new system inside your own mind. So if you've been stuck trying to learn a language for years, maybe the answer isn't to try harder with the same old tools. Maybe it's about choosing a completely new blueprint. And that really leaves us with one final question for you. Are you going to keep just training your memory, or are you ready to start rebuilding your brain?